I'm Mahesh, and I'm working for RAC EGA in Russell Kaima. So I'm a technical consultant here, and yeah, that's a very small introduction about me. And so today I wanted to talk about SAP Cloud Platform Service. That service name is Document Management Service. So, and I'll just give a brief introduction about document management service, and I will also tell how to consume it in your Fiori application because they have given a very nice feature. So I'll talk that is how to consume it in Fiori app very easily. So that is one of the advantage of it. So I'll talk about that. And before going to that, I'll just give a very brief introduction about SAP Cloud Platform. So that folks who have no folks who has no idea about it will be able to understand what it is. So I hope you guys who know about SAP's new strategy, SAP Cloud Platform, where uh, the services, all the services and all will be available in cloud, where you can consume it easily. And SAP Cloud Platform, I'll just Google it. Or maybe I'll just directly go to my Cloud Platform account. So this is my trial account. So in case you guys needed to create a SAP Cloud Platform trial account, right? So you can easily find many tutorials online, or you can reach out to me or any one of us here, so we can share it. So this is basically Cloud Platform Cockpit, where you will have different services that were provided by SAP. And as mine is trial account, so I have limited services and stuff. So for services, for example, what are the cloud services that SAP is offering? For example, there is AI service, artificial intelligence service, or maybe chatbot service, where you can use that service and provide a chatbot, or these kind of different services that are provided by SAP in the cloud. You don't need to install it in your system. You don't need to have any on-premise database or anything. So everything will be in the cloud. So yeah, so that's it. That's about cloud platform. I'm not going very deep into it because it's a very big concept. So I'm just giving a very brief idea what SAP cloud platform and how it looks like. And if you see, there are various services here. And today, the service that I'm going to talk about is document management service. So, and what is document management service? So, document management service is something that is being offered by SAP. 1 second, guys. Okay, that is being offered by SAP. Yeah, that's being offered by SAP for document storage. Document storage in a, I think I just moved. Okay, so document storage in your any application. For example, let's say in your Fiori application, maybe let's say there is a sales order, or purchase order. If you want to store some attachments for that, right? So where will you store that attachment? You have to store it in some database, right? Using some logical relationship and all. If you are from a ABAP background, maybe you might be aware about SAP DMS or SAP GOS related capabilities of from SAP. So where we store documents and where we integrate easily to our GUI screens and attach documents and all. So they will be stored in our DMS storage, which we usually host it in our on-premise system. So it's a similar thing like DMS. SAP is offering document management service. It's a document management service, and you can use this service to store all your attachments for your business applications. And the best thing about this document management service is it is open source. Open source CMIS compliant. So when I say CMIS compliant means, so again it's a very big thing to discuss. So it's basically some open standards, which open source standards, so which all these document storage providers and all will write. So they all will follow these standards, so that the communication from an application to this database storage will be easier. So in future also, if you want to change this database storage, you can easily change with all the similar APIs, all the standards, everything will be there. So there is more to know about CMS compliant thing. So I'll just show you where to find it about that.
Let me just ask a question if I can, Mahesh.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
the
Vijay.
document management on cloud platform, how is it
Yes.
different from someone doing open text on an IaaS solution or something like that? What is the benefit of having it in cloud in your view?
Yeah. So actually, before going deep into this, I just want to tell about this. I'm also still learning these services, and especially this service also I recently started to learn, and I just wanted to share my knowledge with everyone. So yeah, of course you are right. I also was wondering the same thing while starting this, journey into SAP document management service. So I know for a fact that we already have open text available, and I was also checking with some of my friends who are actually working with open text. So from my understanding, what I understand is that like if you see, there are many other uh, AI related chatbot services offered by different providers. So in the same way, SAP is also offering some of these services. But the best thing about this is if you want to integrate open text with your cloud-based applications, right? Cloud-based Fiori app or anything, you need to invest more time. You need to invest, some development effort, all these things doing this. But if you are going with SAP document management services, right? So they have given very easily Fiori solutions which can be integrated so easily. So I think one of this is a advantage, because every provider says that their whole landscape or services will be integrated with each other easily, right? So that is one of the advantages I say that SAP will also say. So if you go with SAP document management service, right? So they say that it's a CMIS compliant. I believe OpenText will also be CMIS compliant only.
They
Um,
are. I'm sorry. I mean,
yeah.
I think we slightly went off on a tangent, and I apologize for kind of
No,
hijacking
no
your
problem. No,
your
it's
speech.
okay. It's good
Uh,
to because this is a casual session, right? So we can
right.
discuss and we can learn each
I
other.
mean, coming from my background,
Mm-hmm.
the CMS solution that they're offering in the cloud is
Mm-hmm.
basically SAP's cloud native solution. As an SAP
Mm-hmm.
architect, when
Mm-hmm.
a client asks me what are the two options, one is you have
Mm-hmm.
on-premise, whether that's cloud hosted or not, or you have the
Mm-hmm.
cloud native. This is just
Yeah.
SAP's cloud native.
Mm-hmm.
The only consideration users need to have is where the data actually resides. I mean, coming from
Mm-hmm.
a European background, data sovereignty
Correct.
is quite important for folks. So if it's sitting
Mm-hmm.
on the cloud, where does it actually sit? And
Yeah.
I guess for the benefit of others, the only significant difference is
Mm-hmm.
cost. When you have it in this cloud native format, you're paying per
Yeah.
call. Versus if you
Correct.
have it on premise or you own the OpenText solution or even business content server, the old version, you
Yeah.
own the whole thing. There is no concept of per call cost. It's just a flat rate, capex,
Yeah.
opex. That's the main
Exactly.
difference.
That
The
is true.
interesting part about this that what I was looking for, what I was asking you about was essentially to understand within the MENA region, are folks actually interested in having data reside in the cloud? Europe, they're okay with it, but the vast majority of folks are saying, listen, we're happy with CPU and compute being in the cloud, but the data, we need control. Is it the same in MENA or is it different in MENA? That's kind of where
Yeah.
I'm looking at you guys for your local experience, local expertise.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I'll hand off back to you now.
It's okay. So the thing is, now nowadays you see even many of the clients in MENA region also are moving to cloud because they have cloud storage here itself available. Even in our UAE region, we have some uh, organization that is providing cloud storage everything. So I think people are moving, but it's very slow. Like many people already moved to success factors where they are storing all the data in the cloud. That is one thing. And to answer you one more question, if you see SAP has provided one more very neat feature. So the thing is, you don't need to connect to cloud storage. So there are two offerings in this document storage. One is you can store the data, all these attachments in any of the hyperscalers, Amazon, any Google, or else you can also connect it to your own DMS storage. So let's say if you have your SAP DMS storage or any other DMS storage, right, which is CMIS compliant. So if any storage which is CMIS compliant, you can easily connect it to your SAP Cloud Platform document storage. So that is one of the advantage also I see with this option. And also, this is a relatively very new service. It's been here only from 1 year. I've been seeing it. Last year, TechEd, I think they have introduced it, I believe. And this year only, I have seen this available in SAP Cloud Platform trial account as well. So I think it's still growing product. It will take time, but I'm sure this will be one of the important product in the future, because right, document management, everyone needs it. And like you said, people has to at the end go choose between open text or any other cheaper option. But this has its own advantage. I'm pretty sure they will show even give more features. For example, I said, right, we can connect it to your any storage. You have your existing storage, you can connect it to that if it is CMS compliant. So some of the advantages for there, only the UI will be provided by SAP integration. So this is an integration option. So this is provided by SAP. So they have three different services like this. One is integration option, and one is application option, where you can have your SAP provides everything like managing repositories, adding attachments. So that is one more option. And another option is repository option. Repository option is the one which I will be using now. So I will be connecting it to SAP Cloud Platform repository, or else you can also connect with your own DMS, any CMS DMS compliant solution. So yeah, I may not be able to answer all the questions, Vijay. I think at least I have satisfied a little bit. So I'll move on to yeah. So this is CMS open standard. You can read more about this in these guidelines. So the SAP also implemented the solution by following these guidelines itself. So even if someone is coming from non SAP solution background, so they can easily understand how to use these APIs and all. So now in this session, I'm only going to show you about how to create a repository first thing, and how to connect that repository to your Fiori application. So like I said, they are giving a Fiori reusable UI where you can show that UI in your in your Fiori app or any app. For example, Fiori app. So let me go here. So what I'll do is I'll follow here the steps that I'm going to do now. I'll follow from the help itself. So first, this is a development place where you can start with your uh, consumption of document integration, document service in your Fiori app. So first of all, you need to be having authenticator. That is obviously when you create it, you will be having you will be a user who is authenticated. So you will have all the relevant roles and all. So don't worry about that. Next thing is this is also fine. You will be subscribed to HTML repository also. It's automatic, these two. You don't need to worry. Next thing is we need to create a Fiori application. So before going to create the Fiori application, I was telling let's create a repository, right? So this repository we are going to create in the cloud. We are going to create in the cloud, not in the, I'm not connecting to any of the existing DMS solution. Like I said, guys, this is relatively new product. So still many things are not available. So some of the things you need to do it manually by ourselves. So for example, the one I'm talking about, to create a new repository. So to create a new repository, there are two solutions. SAP has already given another in the subscription. You can go to application option and you can create a repository there, but that repository and this repository are not getting linked because of some issue. I think it's still SAP, like I said, they're still in the development process there. So what we'll do is we'll not go in the other option where we go and create the repository, but anyway, I'll just show you guys how that looks like, so you will have a good idea what I was talking about. Application option. So this is the one. I'm already logged in, so it's not asking me any other credentials. So these are the two tiles that SAP has given. And one is to create the repositories. So you can create any number of repositories. For example, you can create shared repositories for sharing between two different multiple users. So I have two repositories, right? So this is repository option. And also you can go and create folders. You can go and attach documents. So all these things is available in the second tile. So this is the one. So here, these are the two repositories that I created there. So you can go inside and you can check out these documents that were there here. So you can add, so all these things you can do here. This is general, these two are UIs that were given for user to manage the documents. So we'll not go to this because we are not going to use this. What we are going to do is we are going to create a custom UFA application, custom Fiori application, and show this document management UI in our application. I'm going to take a very simple scenario. I'm not going to go for complex scenario where we have CRUD operations, create, update an object inside that attachments. That is also possible, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to create a very simple application. So let me go back to the services. Yeah. So yeah, here first, these entitlements and all will be automatically added. If not, you can just go there and you can add the entitlements. It's not very difficult thing. So next thing, what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to create a repository. I'm not going to use a UI that is provided by SAP, but I'm going to create it using a web call. So what I'll do is, let's go to document integration option. So first, in order to communicate with this service, right, we need to create a instance for this. So let me create, so these are all by default selected, dev space, runtime environment, service plan, and all. So I'll just create an instance name. I'll say Elsa DM document management. Okay. So I'm creating an instance. Why I'm creating this instance is, in order to communicate with this service, I need to use this instance, because this instance will have service key. This instance is actually an instance of the document management service. So inside that, you will create a service key, which you use a service key to communicate with this particular instance. This instance consists of all our, this is like instance of document management. Okay. So we can dig more into this, but I'm not going to that because it's again a big concept. The service instances, how they are connected to Cloud Foundry, so all these things. I'm also relatively new. I'm learning, exploring all this stuff. So meanwhile, it is still in creation progress. Let's go back to our this one. So first, we have to create a request. We need to create a post request, and we need to provide some data to create the repository. So this is the minimum data that is required to create some repository name, something, and then it will create the repository. It's still creating. Okay, let me open Postman. We use Postman to create that repository. So it has been created. Let me go here and create service key. So I'll just give some name, service key. So this key has a communication details, like user client ID, client secret. So it has OAuth details, which is used to communicate with this instance. So if you see, this instance has UA. So this is user authentication service. So which is used to authenticate and communicate with this one. So it has one thing called URL. So this is a URL that we use to create the token. So we first, in order to communicate with this, we need a access token. It's not like user ID password I will enter and I will communicate. SAP here has implemented OAuth authentication mechanism. So we need to first create a OAuth token. So you can learn more about it online. OAuth, you can Google it, you can get a lot of information. So first I'll use this URL, and then there is something called client secret and client ID. So these are like user ID and password, but they are not the same. It's like if you have multiple services, right? Every service will have its own client ID and client secret. So in case if anyone hacks, if anyone knows about service common user ID password, right? Our all services, we don't need to change the password, user ID and password. So there are many advantages of OAuth. You can just Google about it. So basically OAuth needs this client secret and client ID. So these are the things. Now I'll show my new share. I'll show my Postman now. So let's go back to Postman. So here, let me create a new collection, Elsa DM. Okay. So first we need to create a request. I think add request. Okay, token access. Okay. So now I'll go to authentication. I'll select auth2 and then I'll select get new access token. So here, let's just queue Elsa DM demo. And like I said, that URL I was saying, right, UA URL. So that URL, I'll take it and I'll give it here. But we need to add one more thing. We need to add auth token client credentials. So this thing we need to add in order to generate the auth token. And client ID and client secret are already available here. I'll just go copy it. And then client secret, I'll copy it. Okay, so I'll request a new token. Yep, it's successful. I got the token. This is authentication token. So this is called as JWT token. Also, you can learn more about it, but now it will take a lot of time, so I'll not go through that. And after that, I got the access token to connect to the document management service. So now what I have to do is I need to create the repository. So for repository, let me, yeah. I hope you are able to see my screen. Okay, fine, perfect.
Yeah, we can see, but it is very small.
Now, is it small? This
Yeah,
one?
the right side, yeah, both the windows are very small. Can you
Is
make
it?
it a bit?
Is it fine now? Is it fine?
Is it fine for everyone? For me, it is fine, but
Actually, we are seeing your whole big screen, it seems.
Okay. I got it. I'm sorry. So now I'll share only.
Yeah, earlier it was better actually.
Okay. This one. I think now it is fine.
Now it is better. Yeah. Good.
Perfect. So now, in order to create a repository, right, you need ECM endpoint. So you can get it from here. See, they'll talk about it here. ECM service, endpoints, ECM service. So where you will find it is here. Let me go open this one again. So endpoints, ECM service. This is a URL we use to access the document management service. So let me switch back to Postman. So I'll use this. Yep, it's good. So now authentication token already there. So I'll just do a simple send request. So if you use a simple send request, as I was saying, right? So this is actually the body of it. So it actually is CMS compliant, right? So all that CMS related stuff will come here. Anyway, we don't bother about that. What I'll do is I'll do a post request. So first I'll do a get request for repositories. Let's check what are the repositories that are available. So this is a URL for repositories. You can find it in the help. So I'll do a send. So I get nothing. So because there is no data there. So now what I have to do is I need to create a repository, right? So I'll switch to post request and it's very simple body. Let me post some data here. Okay. Okay, fine. This is JSON format. Now let me just change JavaScript JSON. Keyword repository name. Also DM. I don't want any hash algorithms. Version enable. I don't want also virus enabled. So that's it. I'm going to create a repository now. Yes, my repository is created. So this is my repository ID. I hope this all will be kind of automated in future. But still, like I said, this is related to a new product, I believe. So I think it will take time. For now, we have to do it like this. Or else you can also use application option where you can create repositories. You can manage all the Fiori application and you can do it. But that and this are not linked for some reason. I'm not sure. I have to put a question to SAP about why it's not linked with each other. So, but for now, we'll do this one. Okay, this is our repository.
Mahesh, not linked to each other means can we use this service like we are creating the apps in the business application studio or Fiori in the cloud foundry or not?
Yeah, yes, we can use it. What I'm trying to say is they have given two services, right? One is the integration service that I'm talking about right now, how to integrate with your Fiori application. One is application option they have given is it has two Fiori apps to create repository on the stuff. Repository and go and create folders and all, which you can give it to individual users to manage their own repository if they have attachments and all. We can give it to the individual users. So what I'm saying is that these two are somehow not linked. So the repository that you create in the application, right, that SAP has provided, that and these are not linked. So probably there is a mechanism that we can link, but for now SAP has not given any information on that. Probably it's because a new product and it's still they are giving, maybe they might be giving in batches or I don't know. So maybe in next release or maybe in future releases we might find that is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Fine, right? Okay.
Fine.
So now let's do one more thing called browser. Okay, I did some incorrect stuff. I think I did correct. Yeah, correct. Sorry. There is something called browser here, another URI browser where you can actually, let me go back once.
I think you should use the GET request for that.
You are right. Sorry. Shit, did I create two repositories now? Oh, okay. Anyway, sorry. I'll use a GET repository. So as I by mistakenly created right two repositories, so it will have two repositories right now. See this one and this one. Anyway, let's use the first one. So first one is this is the repository ID, right? Yeah. So now to access this repository details, right? Further details. So you need to use this here browser slash this one. These are all CMIS compliant. You can find it in any uh, open source stuff. See, this is the one. So when I use this root, right? So what happens? It will give all the objects, all the folders in this repository. Actually, there are no folders in this repository, so it is not giving any now. Okay, so that is one thing to one API to know what are the objects there. Let's go back again to normal repositories. So this is repositories, and I'll give this repository here. You can also check from here, but this will not give all the information. That will give all the information. And in this repository, right? So there is a root folder. So there will always be a root folder. Let me just. Okay, forget about this right now. Okay, so we now have the access to repository. So now what we need to do is we need to create a Fiori application and we need to expose this repository over there. So let me change back to Fiori application screen. So I'm using SAP Business Application Studio. This is a go-to tool to create any of your SAP applications. As of now, this is the one. So if you guys don't know about it, there are a lot of tutorials about it, how to use and stuff. So for now, I already have it opened. So I'll start with the creation of a Fiori application. So first, I'll use Yeoman generator. And first I'll get a basic multi-target application. This is MTA application. So whatever the MTA means it has multiple modules inside it where you can have Fiori or multiple things and you can deploy all of them together to the cloud where they will be individually deployed in their respective places by using a configuration. So all these configurations are there. This is again a new, we can take a lot of time to discuss about this, but let's concentrate only on our document management service. So I'm not going to dig deep into that. So let's create a general MTA project. So let's call it as SR DM demo. Okay. So I created a basic MTA application. I'm adding it to my workspace. So now for this, I need to add a Fiori application. So what I'll do is I'll go to the Element generator again, add a Fiori freestyle module. This is another one module you are adding to MTA application. So now you have to select here the path. Let's call it as DM admin. Let's create admin application. Now let's get a very basic UF application. We can actually, like I said, we can have a CRUD operation where you are creating one sales order. Under that, you can show that sales order related attachments. All these things we can do, but we're not going to do that. We'll create a very simple application. We'll use a standalone router. There is something called app router managed by SAP. That is a new one, and it's very interesting also. But let's not go to that. I'll do a very basic one. NS, let it be. Maybe I'll change it to NS1 just for, okay, no, I don't want that. Okay, fine. Okay, now it created a Fiori app, admin Fiori app here. Now let's go back to help here. So consume it in Fiori application, right? They said. So we have followed this one. And now we need to integrate. We just created a very basic Fiori app. It's a very basic Fiori app, but we are not going to show anything else here. Just it's a dummy Fiori app. Maybe this view has probably nothing, no content is also there. So it's okay. Our agenda is how to integrate it with our Fiori application. So now first we'll follow the steps that were given by SAP. So we will not follow this step. This is not good. So let's follow from here. So in order,
someone is asked some question.
yes.
No, in the chat window, someone has asked one question.
Okay, what about Steve here? Now we are going.
Yeah,
hi,
I'll reply to that,
okay.
Mahesh. I'll reply to that. You carry on.
Yeah. So let me go back here to manifest. Because we are using a reusable Fiori application to show our document management service. So for that, we need to follow some of the standards that were mentioned here. So that is, we use component usage to show the Fiori app that is already created by SAP. So we are going to reuse it here. So how is here? So I'll just come here, component usage, document, yeah, perfect. Now, so this and all, we follow the same thing. Repository ID, we need to give our repository ID. So our repository ID here is the one that we created there, right? So the same repository ID we will give. So that is a repository ID. And the folder ID is something we'll come to that in some time. But for now, this is actually required, mandatory, but we'll come to that later. For now, we have given the repository ID. And destination path is something SAP has mentioned as /API, but the thing is it's not working. So we have to give something like this. Because when I was testing my testing, I found that giving that is not working. Not sure why SAP has mentioned like that. But anyway, so this is the one. Yeah. So you need to give that here. This is a destination path and repository have given and resource root. So once the Fiori app, this namespace, right, it goes and searches here, which will be in the HTML repository, STM repository probably. Okay, so now where are we? Let's go back to this. We completed this step, and now we need to use this Fiori app in our application, right? So we need to use in our view. We need to provide that usage here. Whatever the usage we have created, document table, we are going to provide it here. So what happens is that Fiori application that is loaded will be shown here. Probably you can show some stuff also here, some UF elements, but let's do very basic app. So it's good till here. So what is our next step is, where are we? Yeah. So next step is we'll go again here. We will see what we have missed here. One thing is for SAP app router to understand where this, see this URL is there, right? This URL where it has to route this URL. So to which place it has to route. So it doesn't know that SAP app router. So for that, what we need to do is we need to provide the route here. So where it will route and all. So these are all SAP cloud concepts, which you might feel it little bit difficult right now, but once you get a hang of it, it will be not very difficult. So in the same way, I have to give here this one. Okay. So now what happens is whatever the request that it catches here, it will now authenticate with XSUA and it will send it to the reuse application endpoint. So that is what it is doing. We are just following. Yeah. Now we'll go to the next step. So now it catches that route and it will send it to the ECM service endpoint so that it will show the UI, or it will perform all these operations. Now one more thing we need to add is we need to mention. So if you remember, we have created an instance here, right? So this service instance we have created. So this is what is needed for the Fiori app to communicate. This app needs to be communicated. That router needs to communicate with this. With this instance. So how we have to do it? We have to again configure that in our not here. I hope this is fine. Yeah. So we have to configure it in our empty YAML file. So we need to mention here this instance name. So this instance will be linked with our app router. So how we do it is, so this is again, guys, you might get a bit confused. For sure, you will be confused because if you don't know all this YAML representation and all. So for now, we'll just try to figure it out how to show this thing in here, because this all is a very big concept. So in this limited time, it's very difficult to do all that. So let's do very basic stuff. So now in the require section, we need what? We need the instance of SDM. So we'll just add it here. But now we created the instance name as not SDM instance. We created it as ELSA DM. So we give that instance here. So what we are saying is we are communicating with it. But again, this needs to be mentioned in the resources. Okay, so let me go back here. Where? Yeah, resources. If you see resources, he has mentioned all this. Right? Let me copy paste better this stuff till here. Okay, so this is our service. This is our service, nothing but this service where we created in service marketplace. Right? That is a service here. So why it is giving here this type not target not supported? Why? It's correct. Type alpha DM. Maybe some spelling mistake. Type name. Why? I'm not sure why it is here
Are
only,
you
but
using that Yalsa-DM anywhere else?
we are using it here, right? Alsa-DM.
That is
I
just,
mean,
it requires only, right?
yeah, we are putting it here in require. Let me
Okay.
maybe copy paste here. Maybe sometimes, if there is extra space or something, again, this causes a lot of nonsense issue. Probably some
Can you
space,
right click?
extra space.
Yeah, maybe is there any right click and format option?
No.
Maybe
This is, from my understanding, no. For some reason, I don't know. Because, if there is some extra space or something, then it will give errors.
Yeah.
So I don't know where that extra space comes. This is very, bad with this YAML representation. Once you get hang of it again, it will be easy. Okay, so this one. Okay, so this is how they both are linked here. After that, after this is done, right? Now what I need to do, I need to, in the same app router, I need to provide this destination. This destination is used for it to communicate. So let me give properties, destination. I think this is the one. Maybe let me check the old application I have developed. So yeah,
Maybe you
properties,
can, maybe you can show
destination.
the old application only. I think that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost done, but anyway, okay. I think you are right. That is also good. It will be easier that way. So I think everything is done here. Whatever SAP has asked us to set up, right? We have done everything. Because if I do again build YAML and all, it will take another 10 minutes to build it, to push it to cloud and all, right? It will take at least 10 minutes. So let's not waste that time. So I just showed you how to do that, right? So all these things I have shown you. So now, where am I? Okay, so this is application I was working on. I was trying myself. So same thing, both are same, nothing, no different. Once I right click and generate the, here what you need to do is build MTA So once you build it, right, it will start building here and then it will generate this one. So what you need to do is after that, right click on it and deploy MTA. So it will deploy it to your browser, I mean your cloud. So now let me go back here. Let's say let it build it, let it build. So meanwhile I'll show this application. That is better, I think. So now where am I? Already lost. I have to go to my dev space to see those applications. So these are the old one that I have deployed. So this is a pre-ELSA, this one. So it will provide a service. So actually you can integrate with your Fiori Launchpad. You can do all that stuff as well. But this is very bare application. I'm doing very small one. Yeah, this is on. So once you give that URL, right, it will load it. Yeah, it's loading. Meanwhile, let me, if it has already deployed, let me deploy it as well. Yeah, so actually this is the other repository that I have created, not this one. This is another repository. So if you see, it is showing a very basic UI. So because the Fiori app that I developed has nothing, only this part. And here it has all the capabilities of document management, any document management service. So maybe like Vijay was saying, OpenText is very matured product. It has very good features. It's still not there yet, but it will be there probably in future. But it will not cost us to learn all these things. So we will be updated and ready for future. So that's it. So these are the folders. You can create folders, and you can also assign roles and all as well. And also why I created this is I was testing out another application where you can create folders. You go here inside this and you can give this folder access. So this folder URI will be there. So this folder URI, you can give it to a specific application. So what happens is, in my, here I was showing you, right? Let me go back to manifest. So here I was talking about object ID, right? So this object ID is nothing but the folder ID. So you can actually give the folder IDs, the created folder IDs, you can give it here. And then what happens is, by default for the user, maybe let's say it's a purchase order application. What happens is, for the purchase order application, he can only see this folder. He cannot go anywhere and he cannot check it. So he can only see this folder and he can add attachments there. Even further customization, what we can do is we can dynamically create folders. Let's say he's creating a new purchase order. We can dynamically create a folder for this. And inside that folder, what we can do is we can give that access to that particular instance of the purchase order. So what happens is he can only see that particular instance where he can add attachments, and then it will not interfere with the other purchase order. So we can do all that stuff. I'll actually show you the APIs that we need to use to do that. I'll again switch to Postman. Let me see, let me show you. So this is a post request, for example. So this is a repository ID. And in this repository, if you want to create a new folder, so this is my body, right? So I create this, a create folder action. So this is our CMIS complaint. So in CMIS solution also, you will do basically the same thing. So let's say I created, I'll change it here. Why I'm not able to change it? Sorry. I'll say ELSA folder. Let me just post it. Yep. So let's go back here. See, my ELSA folder is coming. So what I'm trying to say is we can use these APIs. These are all normal CMS content APIs, and we can use these APIs and we can use it in our Fiori applications, and we can create the folders dynamically. Let's say we can name this folder as purchase order number 001 or something, and then we can assign it to that particular instance. So all the attachments will be stored in that particular instance. So yeah, we can do that one as well. I'm still in the process of doing it, but like I said, it's the basic solution how it goes. So maybe I'll show this. I'll share this application details in future probably. But yeah, that is how it goes. We have to create a folder stuff like that, and this has basic capabilities like you can attach, upload documents. Let me just show you some stuff. And then you can actually do all the document managements, things like checking out. And you can also attach a new version while checking in, right? You can attach a new version, you can replace that, you can upload a new copy, you can do all that. So these are all basic document management, options. And yeah, so what else I can talk about?
Mahesh.
Yeah, Venki.
So, as you said initially when you started, relating to the object, business object, in a DMS, each document can be related to the specific business object, right?
Okay.
So, same kind of functionality also available here. Linking the object to, some attachment to a business object.
Yeah, actually, like I said, this is a cloud-based solution, right? So it has, you can put custom properties here and you can add custom property values and all there. But for your question, I would say from my understanding, the best solution is, let's say you will enhance, because this is currently for the cloud applications, right? So when you are creating some cloud application, let's say CAP-based application, cloud application programmer-based application, so we'll add another two, properties. Let's say one is repository ID and one is a folder ID. So what this does is, this repository ID and this thing, right? We can save that repository link here. So what happens is, once you open that particular CAP application, let's say books application instance, right? You can actually use that folder ID and repository ID to show this UI. So, so this is what from my understanding.
Just what I want to say, just I'm trying to compare the DMS,
Mhm.
where all the documents, as you said, we can even save these documents in DMS also. That's what you were saying initially, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So when this saves in a
Got it,
DMS,
I
even
got
a
it.
DMS,
Mhm.
DMS has properly you can search the document by the purchase order number or the sales order
Mhm.
number or the customer
Mhm.
number. All the
Mhm.
360 degrees angle we can search the document, and
Mhm.
we can able to retrieve the document from the DMS. So such a kind of
Mhm.
functionality also available here, or
I think a basic search is available for now. So this is all I can tell. Um, Maybe in future they might be giving that option, but here just a basic search. But your question is very valid one. So like I said, this is still a very small product, and they are still starting up, right? So probably they have all these things in their mind. So in future probably they have it, but it has very basic search capability. Like you can only search here. So I'm not even sure why this is not working here. So what, this is very bad, right? So I have to
based on
search with
folders we have
capital P.
searched.
So I think these are still SAP might be figuring out how to do all this, but for now, like I said, right, this we are trying to understand it. So in future also, if we get such a requirement, or we are ready, getting ready for the future by understanding
Mahesh,
DMS solution. Yeah.
Mahesh,
Yes.
Mahesh, I think in that API, right, we
Hmm.
can provide attributes of a file. Okay, when we are uploading
Yeah.
a document, we can put
Correct.
attributes. So once you put attributes, that attributes can be searched via the same APIs also.
Yeah.
Right?
Actually, you are right. I was telling that only
Properties
earlier.
we can set. Yeah.
Yeah. There
So
is.
if you
I'll
attach
show
the
you.
purchase order number as an attribute, you can search it.
Yeah. Correct.
Even gives fuzzy search also.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure about fuzzy search option and all, but at least it has, like you said, right? All this you can add extra properties and all. I'm not finding the document, that particular URL here, but like you said, right? You can add custom properties. So there is something called custom properties. You can add all that stuff, but I'm not sure if adding those custom properties will actually be saved in our DMS custom, because in DMS also, in our SAP ABAP DMS, we have something called I don't remember the name. You can add custom properties and all there. I'm not sure if that and this are linked to each other, because that table will be saved in our system. So in our SAP ABAP table. So I'm not sure if that kind of integration is available.
It's
But
kind of
basically, Mhm.
that's what when you compare the DMS, as you
Mhm.
said, when you upload the document at DMS, even I mean when you link to any specific business object, we can see the
Mhm.
document in the corresponding transaction itself, like a GOS. From
Mhm.
the GOS we can access.
Mhm.
So it's
Mhm.
tightly
Mhm.
integrated in the backend system.
Yeah.
As we know that as SAP releasing this cloud-based DMS,
Mhm.
and even all our modules also moving towards a cloud.
Mhm.
So slowly, I think SAP also going to provide a similar kind of integration there.
Correct. Yeah. Actually, it makes sense to have such a kind of beautiful integration which SAP is providing for our DMS and all. It will be good, right? Maybe this is just starting point for them. Future they might provide all that stuff.
Much one more query I have. Recently, I was
Mhm.
working with the user database like Salesforce, where I have 7 billion documents of the size of 2.2 terabytes, where I got
Mhm.
recommend to replicate to backend system of DMS. So
Mhm.
the file size, some of the file size is more than the 30 MB, something like
Mhm.
this. So I was
Mhm.
working last weekend. So
Oh.
what is any in this solution? We have any restriction, like based on the size or number of documents, this kind of
I have
the
not seen
limitations we have.
any restriction mentioned in SAP help for now. This is just, they said the only thing I can see is, if you have very huge documents, then you can actually disable this one. Let me show you. uh, it's not much, but see, if you have skip virus scan for large files, so probably it
Mhm.
supports large files, but I don't know how much large the file it will support. So only this option I have seen when it comes to large, anywhere related to large. And one more thing is, Venki, what you are saying, right, to your own repository. So if you want to connect with your own repository, so you need to use this particular API. You need to mention here your CMIS ID. So all that external link and all you need to mention. So that is how it will get communicated. Destination, content destination. Maybe this destination will be probably used in our, here we have destination service, right? So it will be probably communicated by that.
Okay.
I didn't try that option. I only tried the actual attachment option that is provided by SAP itself.
So it's not documented anyway, saying that there is a maximum limit of the document, something like that.
No. I didn't see anything. I went through all and I didn't see anywhere related to that. And I was actually I was not showing my screen earlier when I was talking about creating attachment and all. See, I was talking about normal attachment you can create here. Any attachment, let's say this one. Oh, so it is actually recognizing that it is a new one. That is good. Okay, so old one. So here you have capabilities like checkout. So these are general capabilities of CMS solution. Even in our DMS also we have this, right? We can check in a new document, re-upload with a new copy. So all these things also possible. Once you check out, so you cannot delete it, right? Obviously, it will give error if you delete it. So yeah, so those are some of the capabilities. Yeah, so that's it, guys. Like I said, right? So this is like an admin solution. Let's assume it as admin place where they can create all folders and assign it to particular projects and all. So what we can actually do in our actual CRUD operation Fiori app is we can dynamically create a folder and assign that folder to particular instance of a object. Let's say purchase order 100, you will assign one folder. Like that, you can assign folders and do the stuff. So I don't think it will be very difficult thing also. Probably SAP might make it easier in future, but for now you need to, I was showing you Postman, right? To create the folders and all. You need to follow that APIs to create it. Yeah, any other things you guys want to discuss or? So Vijay, you are still there or?
Still here, still here.
So Vijay, in OpenText, how it will be like? They have made all these things very easier, even to consume it in Fiori or any application, and to create folders, such instances, right? Now I'm talking about creating an instance, right? Like let's say purchase order 100 you are creating. So you will create a new folder and assign that to your
Repositories.
yeah,
So in
repository.
OpenText, they use it as repositories, and there are two ways to do it. One is there's an OpenText administration client that you can use, a thick client. Second is you can use it using just as what you're doing, using gets and puts. You can give API commands using SDK or even script it out. So when you're doing a rollout of multiple instances, you just script it out and it'll just run just like a PowerShell command, for lack of better words. But usually the way it works is you do multiple repositories, you configure each repository, you configure an SAP, and in OpenText itself as to how you want it done, what security it has in place. And you can also put, now with the latest versions, you can put geolocations specifications as well, which IP address ranges are allowed and stuff like that. So I mean, if you're doing connection pooling, it's not really useful, but there are options. End of the day, both solutions, they are the same thing. They provide the same services. It's just a matter of where is it hosted, where's the data where's the data coming from. Having it in the cloud is a beneficial. There are benefits to it. So if you have DR reasons, your region fails, SAP at the back end is responsible for making sure your data is redundant, it's available, that your traffic manager systems and everything will automatically point you to an available conduit. Versus if you're doing it on premise, it's the old thing. You are responsible for it. So it is how much of, what is your TCO? What do you want your basis admins to do, or your business continuity professionals to do, versus what do you want to consume? You get what you pay for. You pay a little bit, you get to do the work, you control it. You pay a lot to SAP, SAP does everything, and you can just sit back.
That is true. At least SAP tried giving that option to connect your on-premise DMS. At least that was a good thing. But the thing is, the other stuff will reside in all this UI, this communication with the CMIS DMS solution. All these things reside in the cloud here. So at least that part is fine. So I was just wondering how, to create these folders, dynamically assigning it to any purchase order instance. So I was thinking how it will happen in OpenText, but yeah, you gave a very good picture of it. So it's similar
But,
here, but these guys don't have an SDK like you're talking about. Maybe someone
correct.
have to create SDK. Maybe I will
Well, I'm
create.
sure they have it. The backend SAP systems
Mhm,
usually will be when you usually
mhm,
you usually link your purchase
mhm,
orders, your billing documents, all of that from SAP itself. Once a
mhm,
document is archived, for lack of a better
mhm,
word, it
mhm,
links to that archive document ID. Where the
mhm,
document actually sits, how the document gets to the document repository is
mhm,
a
mhm.
black box solution. Whether that's
Ah,
in a CMS or whether that's OpenText or Business Content Server or even your old file share. You can use your
mhm,
MaxDB old file share. You can do that.
mhm.
That's irrelevant and not really SAP's concern, or not a
Ah,
functional concern, for lack of better word.
exactly. Mhm.
So
Okay.
functionally
Mhm,
speaking, linking the documents is something
mhm,
that SAP handles natively. We don't need to
mhm,
get into that level of detail using
mhm,
SDKs and so on. You could do it.
mhm,
And the only time you need to do it is if you're doing system copies, for example, right? Production
mhm,
is being copied into a project system. And they want the
mhm,
repository also copied because they don't want the project
mhm.
system directly linking to your production repository.
Yeah.
In which case,
Uh-huh.
how do you then go and modify all your repository document IDs
Mhm.
to say that don't go to prod, go to this new repository, go to this new document server? That's when all these
Yeah.
SDKs come into play.
Mhm.
And it'll
And
be
also,
very
if you
interesting to
are
see what.
doing complete UI application, not related to SAP,
Absolutely.
something cloud application, then you need that SDKs, right?
Yes, if
Obviously.
it's cloud native and you're using
Yeah.
it a bit like how SAP HANA was being
I'm
sold as
I'm doing it
it's
here.
just a database.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So yes,
Okay.
when you're doing something like that. But
Mhm.
SAP solution for this, I mean, this seamless solution from SAP is purely for SAP products only. They're not even
Correct.
recommending it. Don't use it as a general purpose repository. It is not an
Uh-huh.
HTTP web repository.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Correct. Right.
they will be trying to replicate your S3 buckets and things like that, and that's useless. It's a waste.
Uh, Makes sense. We also had this open text integration. So in a similar way, so they were actually showing open text related, UI in all the related these objects. So they were having that kind of linkage there, but it was completely integrated. They were not doing a lot of manual effort because it's SAP background, backend, and
Sure.
probably they have provided SDKs for that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be too surprised if OpenText is in the back of all of this stuff. I mean, OpenText is
Huh.
an SAP product now. So from that
Oh,
angle, it would not make any sense for SAP to redevelop the wheel. They're probably just
is it?
retrofitting OpenText into a cloud native solution.
Oh, I did not
Yeah,
know. So it's a. Uh-huh.
SAP acquired OpenText in 2010, I believe. So it's now a
Oh.
full-fledged SAP
Uh-huh.
product, but just like ASC and so on, they're still selling it with its own name.
Oh, I did not know this. So probably this might be on top of OpenText also. We don't know.
Quite possibly.
Yeah, makes sense. Nice, Vijay. You have very good knowledge on these areas. Maybe you should also talk about something very interesting for us in future.
Happy to. Once I get my feet a little bit wet, then of course I'll be happy to share what I can.
Yeah, nice. So I think I'll stop here. So yeah, I have shown just the basics of how to integrate this document management inside your Fiori app, and we can also create very complex apps. But for now, we will just stay with this very small app. Okay, so that's it, guys, from my side, and thanks for letting me speak here. And I'll give it over to Srihari now.
Yeah, thanks, Mahesh. It was a very nice